Have you ever noticed how some people seem unshaken no matter what life throws at them, while others get upset over the smallest things? As we get older, the things that once didn't bother us can start to weigh heavily on our minds. Rude comments, unsolicited advice, or people overstepping our boundaries. These are all things that, at one point, we could have brushed off without a second thought. But now, they seem to stick with us longer, causing stress that lingers far too long. And while we may not show it outwardly, this buildup of tension affects our health, our relationships, and our peace of mind. The truth is, as we age, it becomes increasingly important to guard our peace, and learning how to do so is one of the most valuable skills we can develop. So, what if there were ways to reclaim your calm, to stop letting other people's words or actions disrupt your day, not by becoming cold or indifferent, but by becoming wiser, by learning to let go of what doesn't matter and protecting your mental space? In this video, we'll explore 8 powerful mindset shifts that can help you stay grounded, steady, and unbothered, no matter the challenges or people you encounter. These aren't quick tricks or clever comebacks, but lasting changes that can transform how you respond to the world around you. Stick with us until the end, because the last few insights might just give you the freedom and peace you've been seeking. Whether you're in your 60s, 70s, or even 80s, these ideas can help you live your later years with a clearer mind and a lighter heart. Let's dive in. One of the most powerful tools you can use to protect your peace as you age is the simple yet profound act of choosing silence over reaction. You might be surprised at how freeing it can be to realize that not every comment, every criticism, or every disagreement needs a response. In fact, the older you get, the more you start to recognize that your peace is far more valuable than being right, proving a point, or engaging in unnecessary drama. This isn't about being cold or disengaged. It's about understanding that some battles are better left unfought. When someone criticizes you or tries to provoke a reaction, choosing to remain silent doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. By not responding, you take back control of your emotional space and refuse to let someone else's words disrupt your peace. Let's consider Paul, 74, used to get upset every time his brother-in-law made a snide comment. No matter how small or insignificant the remark, Paul would stew over it for days. But one day, he decided to stop reacting. Instead of firing back, he simply nodded and moved on with his day. Surprisingly, he found that he felt stronger, not weaker, because for the first time, he wasn't letting his brother-in-law steal his peace. What Paul discovered is something many studies on emotional health and aging have confirmed. Letting go of unnecessary stressors, including petty arguments, can have significant mental and physical health benefits. According to research from the American Psychological Association, chronic stress, which often results from unresolved conflicts or carrying emotional burdens, can contribute to high blood pressure, weakened immune systems, and increased risks of heart disease. By choosing silence and avoiding unnecessary conflict, you're not only preserving your peace, you're also protecting your health. And it's not just about stress, it's about energy. When you stop reacting to every little thing, you begin to conserve your mental and emotional energy, which can be a game changer as you grow older. The less you say, the more peace you keep. And people will notice. When you refuse to take the bait, whether it's from a rude comment or a stressful situation, you send a message that you're in control of your emotions. You're not playing their game anymore. This shift in mindset allows you to spend more time focusing on what truly matters: your health, your family, your passions, and less time caught up in trivial disputes that have no lasting impact. Remember, not every comment deserves a response, and not every argument deserves your energy. Choosing silence when someone tries to provoke you can be one of the most powerful ways to maintain your peace. The next time you're faced with a situation that could easily turn into a battle, take a deep breath, look the person in the eye, and say nothing. Then walk away, knowing you've just saved yourself from unnecessary stress. In the end, your peace is priceless, and it's worth guarding with the wisdom that comes from years of living. Building on the power of silence, another essential skill to develop as we age is the ability to set emotional boundaries without feeling guilty. As we get older, we may find ourselves saying yes more often than we should, especially when we've been conditioned to put others first throughout our lives. Many of us, particularly those who were raised to be polite and accommodating, might feel obligated to help others, even when it comes at the cost of our own well-being. But setting boundaries doesn't make you selfish. It's a form of self-preservation. You see, emotional boundaries aren't just about keeping people at a distance. They're about recognizing when your emotional resources are being drained and taking the necessary steps to protect them. This doesn't mean you stop caring for others, but it does mean you recognize that you can't pour from an empty cup. Let's look at someone like Jane, a 68-year-old woman who lives alone. She has no children and spends much of her time caring for others, whether it's running errands for neighbors or listening to the constant problems of friends who never ask how she's doing. For years, Jane felt guilty whenever she said no or took time for herself. She thought it made her a bad person or a bad friend. But after a particularly rough year of dealing with a health scare, Jane's doctor told her she needed to reduce her stress or risk serious complications. This was her wake-up call. She started saying no to requests that drained her, limiting calls from a friend who always came to her with complaints but never showed interest in her life. At first, Jane felt guilty, like she was failing those around her, but over time she began to notice a shift. Her shoulders weren't as tight, her mood had improved, and she had more energy. She wasn't being rude, she was protecting herself. The truth is, when we don't set these boundaries, we end up overwhelmed and burnt out, with nothing left to give to those who truly matter. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that chronic stress, which is often a result of not setting boundaries, can lead to physical and emotional health problems, including anxiety, depression, and heart disease. By setting emotional boundaries, we're not just protecting our peace of mind, we're also protecting our physical health. Jane's story is a reminder that it's okay to put yourself first. It's okay to say, "This isn't good for me." In fact, it's necessary. You've spent a lifetime taking care of others, and now it's time to take care of yourself. When you establish these boundaries, you'll find that you have more to give when it really counts. You'll show up for others with a full heart, not one that's been emptied by overgiving. And most importantly, you'll feel stronger, more at ease, and more at peace with your choices. If Jane can make this change, so can you. Don't wait for a wake-up call. Start setting your emotional boundaries today and reclaim the energy and joy that's rightfully yours. Continuing on from the importance of setting emotional boundaries, another powerful skill to embrace as we age is the art of selective hearing and intentionally tuning out what doesn't serve you. This is perhaps one of the most liberating lessons you can learn. As you get older, you realize that not everything deserves your attention, not every conversation, not every opinion, and certainly not every emotional outburst. Think of it this way. Your time and emotional energy are limited resources, and you get to decide where they go. By selectively tuning out what doesn't uplift or support you, you create more room for peace, clarity, and joy in your daily life. Take the example of Henry, a 75-year-old retired teacher who lives in a small community. For years, Henry found himself getting tangled up in every conversation about politics, gossip, or family drama. He would hear people complaining about their health or the state of the world, and it would weigh heavily on him. It wasn't that Henry didn't care about these issues, it's just that he realized, after many years of letting these conversations drag him down, that they didn't contribute to his well-being. One day, after feeling drained yet again from a long discussion about the state of local affairs, he decided to change his approach. Now, Henry still listens, but he's selective about what he truly engages with. He smiles and nods during conversations that are full of negativity, but chooses not to absorb it. Instead, he focuses on conversations that bring him peace, discussions about books, travel, and memories of better days. His mental and emotional health improved dramatically. Studies show that excessive exposure to negative conversations, especially those revolving around gossip or personal complaints, can increase stress and anxiety. The American Psychological Association confirms that chronic stress has a direct impact on our physical health, including a weakened immune system and higher risk for cardiovascular disease. By choosing to engage only with things that add value to your life, you're not just protecting your peace, you're actively protecting your health. It's about knowing when to walk away, to mentally check out, or even just to smile and keep your distance. The key is realizing that not every word, every situation, or every issue needs to be absorbed into your mind and heart. You're allowed to filter out negativity, and in fact, doing so is one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. The act of tuning out is a form of self-care. It's an acknowledgement that you have the right to preserve your energy for what truly matters. You can still be kind, you can still be present, but you don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. As you practice this, you'll notice a shift. You'll feel lighter, more grounded, and more in control of your emotional state. Your days won't feel as draining, and you'll find it much easier to focus on what brings you joy and fulfillment. It's not about ignoring reality, it's about choosing what you want to engage with, and more importantly, choosing what you want to let go of. Just as Henry found peace in his newfound approach to selective hearing, so can you. Give yourself permission to tune out what doesn't serve you and start dedicating your attention to the things that truly enrich your life. You deserve it. Building on the power of selective hearing, another essential mindset shift as we age is learning to release the need to be liked by everyone. This is a profound realization that can free you in ways you might not expect. For many of us, especially those raised to be polite and agreeable, the desire for approval is something we've carried with us for years, if not decades. We've spent much of our lives trying to fit in, make others happy, and avoid conflict. But as you grow older, you begin to understand that not everyone will like you, and that's okay. In fact, it's a relief. You no longer need to bend over backward to gain approval from people who don't understand you or don't value who you truly are. This lesson is especially important because it frees you from the emotional burden of constantly trying to please others at the expense of your own happiness. Take the story of Mary, a 70-year-old woman who has spent her entire life being the people pleaser. She was always the first to volunteer for family tasks, always the one to compromise her own needs for the comfort of others. But over the years, she began to notice the toll this was taking on her health. She felt drained, unappreciated, and increasingly resentful. One day, after a particularly exhausting family gathering, Mary decided she couldn't live like this anymore. She started saying no to requests that felt burdensome, and for the first time in her life, she began putting her own needs at the forefront. Initially, she was terrified. She thought her family would be disappointed or angry, but to her surprise, they respected her decision. Some even expressed admiration for her newfound confidence. Over time, Mary began to feel more at peace with herself. Her health improved, and she started rediscovering passions she had long neglected, like painting and gardening. Studies show that the need to constantly seek approval can increase stress levels, leading to a weakened immune system, anxiety, and depression. According to the Mayo Clinic, stress, particularly chronic stress from trying to meet others' expectations, can contribute to a wide range of health issues, including high blood pressure, heart disease, and sleep disorders. By releasing the need for approval, you're not only protecting your mental health, but your physical health as well. As you get older, you deserve the freedom to be your authentic self without fear of judgment or rejection. This doesn't mean you stop being kind or respectful, but it does mean you stop trying to be someone you're not just to gain others' approval. The truth is, the right people will love and respect you for who you truly are, without needing you to change to fit their mold. As Mary learned, letting go of the need to please everyone is one of the most empowering gifts you can give yourself in your later years. You no longer have to shrink to fit someone else's idea of who you should be. Instead, you get to stand tall in your truth, embracing the freedom to live for yourself, not for others' validation. Let go of the pressure to please, and in doing so, you'll find the peace and joy that comes from knowing you're enough, just as you are. Continuing on from the freedom that comes with releasing the need for approval, another life-changing habit you can develop as you age is mastering the pause before reacting. This simple yet profound practice can make all the difference in how you experience your day-to-day life. In our younger years, We might have been quick to react, jumping into arguments or snapping at others when we felt wronged. But as we grow older, we start to realize that most of our regrets come not from what we felt, but from what we said or did before we took a moment to think. There's a wisdom that comes with taking a pause, giving yourself space between the stimulus and your response. This pause is where peace lives. It's the gap where you can check in with yourself, where you have the opportunity to choose your response wisely instead of reacting impulsively. Take the example of Jack, an 80-year-old man who, for much of his life, was quick to speak his mind, especially when he felt something wasn't right. He would argue with friends, family, and even strangers. But after suffering a heart attack, Jack realized that he couldn't afford to let stress dictate his life anymore. His doctor suggested he practice slowing down his reactions, especially when things irritated him. At first, Jack struggled. It felt unnatural to not immediately fire back when someone upset him, but over time he began to notice something remarkable. His blood pressure dropped, his stress levels decreased, and his relationships improved. By taking just 5 seconds to breathe before reacting, Jack found a new sense of control. He wasn't suppressing his emotions. He was choosing how to express them in a way that protected his peace. Studies have shown that this pause before reacting can have a profound impact on both mental and physical health. According to the American Heart Association, managing stress by practicing mindfulness and slowing down your responses can help lower your risk for heart disease, reduce anxiety, and improve overall well-being. The simple act of pausing gives you back control over your emotions, allowing you to respond thoughtfully instead of emotionally. This skill becomes especially important as we age because it allows us to conserve our energy and protect our health. Instead of getting caught up in every moment of irritation, we learn to assess whether it's worth our energy or if it's simply a passing moment. The next time someone cuts you off in traffic or a family member pushes your buttons, try Jack's approach. Take a deep breath and pause for just a few seconds. It's amazing how much more peaceful your day becomes when you realize that you don't have to react to everything. That moment of stillness, that breath, gives you the space to choose peace over chaos. As you grow older, you'll find that this simple habit becomes a powerful tool for preserving your emotional and physical health. Mastering the pause isn't about suppressing your feelings. It's about being intentional with how you express them. It's about choosing peace over stress, and that small choice can make a world of difference in how you experience life moving forward. Building on the power of the pause, another key lesson that comes with age is the understanding that it's rarely about you when others react negatively. As we get older, we gain the wisdom to realize that people's bad moods, sharp words, or behavior often reflect what's going on inside of them, not what's happening with us. In our younger years, we might have taken everything personally, wondering what we did wrong when someone snapped at us or gave us the cold shoulder. But as we mature, we begin to see that most of the time, others' reactions are rooted in their own struggles, whether it's stress, fear, insecurity, or even grief. Take the story of Ruth, a 76-year-old woman who had a neighbor who was always short with her. For months, Ruth assumed she had done something wrong. She would avoid her neighbor, wondering if it was something she had said or done. One day, as they both happened to be at the mailbox at the same time, Ruth offered a warm smile, and to her surprise, her neighbor shared that her husband was in hospice care and she had barely been sleeping. In that moment, Ruth realized it had nothing to do with her. It was all about her neighbor's grief and exhaustion. Ruth stopped taking it personally after that, and instead, she offered kindness when she could. This shift in perspective allowed her to protect her emotional health while still offering empathy to others. Studies on human behavior support this understanding. Research from the American Psychological Association suggests that when people act out or react negatively, it is often because they are experiencing stress or unresolved emotions. In fact, a study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that individuals who are dealing with emotional pain or discomfort are more likely to project those feelings onto others. By recognizing that someone's sharp words or coldness often have little to do with us, we take back our power. We don't absorb their negativity because we understand it's not our responsibility to carry their pain. We simply observe and offer compassion without allowing it to weigh on our hearts. This is a powerful shift. When you stop taking things personally, you protect yourself from unnecessary emotional distress. You stop internalizing others' moods, which can significantly reduce stress and improve your mental health. In fact, studies show that emotional detachment, learning to separate other people's reactions from your own sense of self-worth, can reduce anxiety and lower the risk of depression. As you age, this becomes an invaluable tool for maintaining peace and emotional stability. The next time someone is rude or distant, remember, it's likely not about you. It's about their own internal struggles. Give yourself permission to not absorb their mood. Instead, respond with kindness if you can, or simply walk away, knowing that their emotional state doesn't have to become your burden. By doing this, you'll not only protect your peace, but also give yourself the freedom to experience life with a lighter heart. Understanding that others' behavior often has nothing to do with you is an empowering lesson. It's a reminder that we don't have to internalize every negative interaction, and that alone can transform how we navigate the world around us. Continuing from the empowering realization that not everything is about us, another crucial insight that comes with age is recognizing that you've already overcome so much in life. When you look back at the challenges you've faced, loss, disappointment, health struggles, or personal setbacks, you begin to understand that the strength you've developed over the years is more than enough to carry you through any new challenges. It's easy to forget how resilient we've become because life's difficulties often feel like they pile on top of each other. But here's the truth. The weight of all that you've endured is also proof of how strong you are. Take the story of Leonard, 80, who has lived through several life-changing hardships. Leonard lost his wife to cancer, went through a difficult job loss, and survived a major health scare. Yet when he looks back on his life, he doesn't see a man defined by those tragedies. Instead, he sees a man who has lived through each storm and come out the other side stronger. One day, after his neighbor complained about something trivial, Leonard stopped himself before he could react. Instead, he thought, "Compared to losing my wife, this really doesn't matter." That moment of reflection helped him let go of something that would have once bothered him. This isn't to say that life's difficulties don't hurt or leave scars. They do. But as you age, you gain a sense of perspective that helps you measure problems more accurately. According to research from the American Psychological Association, resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity, is strongly linked to improved mental health and well-being as we age. In fact, studies show that individuals who have experienced and overcome hardships often develop a stronger sense of emotional stability, lower levels of anxiety, and better overall health. Leonard's ability to reflect on his past struggles and see how far he's come allowed him to put smaller, everyday frustrations into perspective. When you start standing on your past instead of letting it weigh you down, you shift your mindset. You begin to see challenges not as obstacles, but as part of the journey that has shaped you into someone with more wisdom, more strength, and more clarity. This mindset shift is crucial because in our later years, we have fewer years ahead of us, but we also have the experience and resilience to handle whatever life throws our way. Instead of feeling like the weight of the world is pressing down on you, you can take a step back and remember that you've already carried far more than you ever thought possible. By embracing your past and the strength you've gained, you start to feel lighter, more confident, and ready to take on whatever comes next. This shift in perspective is incredibly freeing because it reminds you that you don't need to be overwhelmed by life's difficulties. You have the strength to rise above them. And the beauty of this wisdom is that it grows stronger the older you get. So, when life throws you a curveball, take a moment to reflect on everything you've already overcome and let that reminder of your resilience give you the courage and peace to move forward. Building on the strength you've gained through life's challenges, another crucial shift as you age is understanding the importance of spending your energy only on those who truly respect your peace. As you reach your 60s, 70s, and beyond, you start to realize that not everyone deserves your time, and even fewer deserve your emotional energy. The relationships that once felt important might begin to feel more draining than fulfilling, and it's natural to reassess where you invest your time and resources. You have the right to be selective about who you allow into your life and who you allow to occupy your emotional space. Take the story of Charles, a 73-year-old man who spent years attending weekly gatherings with old friends from work. Over time, he realized these meetings were no longer a source of joy, but a constant drain. His friends would complain about their wives, criticize the government, and discuss their failing health, nothing positive or uplifting. Charles would leave those gatherings feeling heavier, more frustrated, and disconnected. One day, he decided to try something different. He skipped a few Sundays and spent the time gardening instead. Then he met up with his niece for lunch and took long walks with a neighbor. Within a month, Charles noticed a significant shift in how he felt. He was lighter, more alive, and far less stressed. He didn't even realize how drained he was until he stopped spending time with people who only brought negativity into his life. Studies show that the people we surround ourselves with have a significant impact on our health and well-being. According to research published in Psychological Science, our social networks, especially those with negative or toxic influences, can contribute to higher stress levels, lower satisfaction, and poorer overall health. On the other hand, positive relationships with people who respect our boundaries and bring out the best in us have been linked to better mental and physical health, including lower blood pressure and reduced risk of depression. The key to preserving your peace as you age is learning to identify which relationships lift you up and which ones drain you. You don't have to sever ties with everyone who is difficult or demanding, but you can set boundaries and limit your exposure to those who continuously cause you stress. Instead, focus on spending time with those who bring joy, support, and warmth into your life. As you age, your time becomes one of your most precious resources, and how you choose to spend it directly impacts your happiness and health. Don't waste your energy on people who don't respect your peace. Instead, surround yourself with those who make you feel seen, valued, and appreciated. You deserve relationships that nourish your soul, not ones that leave you feeling depleted. When you make this shift, you'll find that your emotional and physical health improves, your stress levels drop, and you begin to experience life with a newfound sense of freedom and joy. You are worthy of peace, and it's up to you to protect it. As you embrace these powerful shifts in mindset, you'll find that the freedom to live a peaceful, fulfilled life grows stronger with each passing day. By choosing silence over reaction, setting emotional boundaries without guilt, selectively tuning out negativity, releasing the need for approval, mastering the pause before reacting, understanding that others' actions are often about them, drawing strength from your past, and spending time with those who truly respect your peace, you'll create a life where stress no longer holds the same power over you. These changes aren't just abstract ideas, they're practical, real ways to protect your well-being and your joy as you grow older. It's about choosing peace over chaos, wisdom over conflict, and health over stress. Remember, you've earned this peace. You've already lived through enough to know what matters, and you have the strength to guard your energy moving forward. Now, it's your turn to implement these powerful changes and reclaim the life you deserve. Take small steps every day, and soon you'll notice a shift not just in how you react to the world, but in how the world reacts to you. If you found these insights valuable, I'd love to hear from you. Please comment below and share one shift you plan to make in your life. Don't forget to like this video and share it with others who could benefit from these empowering tips. Your support helps us create more content to inspire and uplift. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to hearing your thoughts and seeing you in the next video.